What's going on, y'all? This is Markeem. This is the Nightmare Baller One, Nightmare Comics One, whatever you want to call me. One, however many people of the No Longer Once in a Blue Moon podcast, and this is an edition of Blue Moon Extra. An idea I had that I is not mine originally. There aren't many people because, for whatever reason, the buzz behind a company like New Japan Pro Wrestling is not the same. So what I wanted to do, because I'm a completionist and I do this every year, I've been doing this every year. I didn't really do it in like the what they call it, mid 2000s, the mid aughts, and the early 2010s. Went until like 2012. I did as much as I could in the 90s. Obviously, is watch all of the G1 Climax. Right, the G1 was different back then, but So, in order for me to give y'all a little more content, because people seem to enjoy me talking, and I appreciate that, I want to review these shows in little chunks, right? So, in this Blue Moon Extra, I'm going to review the first two nights of the G1 Climax. I also, because shout out to Adam from the Discord and Kid Big Rat 310, I will start this by talking about Final Fantasy. Whoa, Fantastic Four, and also I want to give TNA their chance to shine. Because apparently, another entity doesn't give a fuck if they shine or not. Plus, something that's going to make me yell. It's going to make me yell. Stay tuned. But let's talk about Fantastic Four first. I am excited. I think that this has a chance to be a movie that Marvel desperately needs. Apparently, they're very, very confident in it. I could have saw it tomorrow because that's how confident they are in terms of advanced screenings. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people do. A lot of people don't. I had a friend who used to own a movie theater in Camden, South Carolina. It died because of the pandemic. Now, him and his I know he now has access to a theater now, and him and a few other people, they allow me to go see critic screenings at times, like early screenings of a lot of movies. I only really use them for the comic book movies and the blockbusters, because truth be told, I don't really care about going to see the other stuff. I'm a comic book nerd. That's the shit I'm interested in. That's when I decide to use this. I got to see Superman early. I would have got to see Fantastic Four early, but things happen. But I had to be an adult. But I think it looks really cool. I think that the way that there's a couple ways you can do Fantastic Four and make it work. Because a lot of in fact, all of the other iterations of Fantastic Four, in terms of the Tim Story that directed the other one, and Josh Trank, the reason why it didn't work for them is because I don't think they understood what a Fantastic Four story should look like. There are two ways to do the Fantastic Four, and the dynamic should be the same either way you do it. First way is a lot of great Fantastic Four stories are campy sci-fi tales. They're tales of traveling through space, traveling through the multiverse, discovering new things, and bonding as a family as they do it. I mean, that's the one way to do it. The other way to do it is to get heady and philosophical. John Hickman, if y'all don't know John Hickman, comic book writer, probably the best Fantastic Four has ever been written is by John Hickman. He went that route. The concept of the Council of Reeds came from him, where it's Reed Richards all through the universes, that all through the multiverse that come together, and it's kind of like a giant think tank. You know what I mean? Where they try to come up with ways together to try and change the world for the better. Sometimes make it worse. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. The heady Fantastic Four. Those are the two ways you do it. Problem with those Tim Story movies is that they weren't sci-fi enough. Where yes, they all had superpowers and stuff, but it was generic superhero movie with a team that happened to be a family, instead of a sci-fi movie with characters that happen to have superpowers. You get what I'm saying? Like Fantastic Four should, if you want to do it that way, can resemble something like Star Trek, but they didn't do that, and it looks like this movie is going that route. Like they're not going the heady route yet, and they might because of what's coming after this, but it seems like this one is 100% sci-fi movie with the family dynamic, which I appreciate because that's one way to do Fantastic Four. Discovery. We're scientists. We're we're learning things about the universe. We're all this other stuff. Reed Richards is actually smart. Stuff like that. That all seems to be the case. The thing that I was most worried about with this movie is Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. As great of an actor as he is, he's a likable dude. And Reed Richards is not likable. I'm really curious to see how he portrays him, because it worried me when I saw he was cast, because I was like, ooh, can he do unlikable, socially awkward, doesn't really understand the cues of other people, as well as doesn't really know how to juggle the emotions of his entire family, because that's something that Reed Richards always struggles with, and that's one of the main dynamics of his character. And yes, those clothes are clean, by the way, but it's one of the main dynamics. I need to fold them, but it's one of the main dynamics of his character, right? So I was wondering, can he do this? And it seems like from what the early reviews are saying and people that saw it, the early reactions, is that he did. Which is good. I'm glad. I'm happy. Another thing that they seem to have gotten correctly is Franklin Richards being a big deal. Franklin Richards, honestly, is the character that can literally break the entire Marvel Universe. Franklin Richards is one of the most powerful characters in all of Marvel Comics. And the fact that they have gone out of their way to make him a big deal and a part of the marketing material kind of tips off the fact that they're probably going to end up doing something like that. And if people are wondering how do we get to the MCU X-Men, how do we get to whatever they're going to do if they reboot everything and things like that, it may just end up being Franklin Richards. You know what I mean? So keep an eye on that, because what's coming next is Avengers Doomsday. And I imagine that Avengers Doomsday will set up how how Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom, his motivations, what he's up to, things like that. And then Secret Wars will be what Secret Wars was in the comics, where he found out he was the only Doctor Doom, the only true Doctor Doom, only true Victor Von Doom in the whole multiverse. Killed the Beyonder, took his powers. They probably won't have the Beyonder in the movie. I doubt it. Which they should, but I doubt. It'd be kind of weird if they didn't have. They called this movie Secret War and didn't have the Beyonder, because the Beyonder, if you don't know, well, I'm assuming you guys don't, but he was the guy responsible for the original Secret War that brought all these heroes and villains to Battle World and had them fight basically for his amusement. You know what I mean? All powerful being, one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel Comics, right? And then the follow-up, not Secret Wars 2, we're not talking about that, but the one, because everyone thinks Secret War, people kind of forget about Secret Wars 2, and then they just go straight to the John Hickman Secret War, right? So one of the cool things about that is that Beyonder appears in the John Hickman Secret War to be murdered by Doctor Doom. You know what I mean? He's kind of the thing that bridges the gap. So it'd be kind of weird if they didn't have him at all in this. You know what I mean? But Franklin Richards, I believe, will tie into, if they don't do the Beyonder, maybe he ties into how Doctor Doom gets the power of, that type of power to reshape the multiverse how he sees fit. You know what I mean? Where he merges the entire multiverse and it all clashes together, and the world is like this hodgepodge of all these different universes, and then something happens. I don't want to ruin everything because they might do it in the movie, but then something happens, and then we end up with one universe. So, I imagine Franklin Richards might be the key to that. I mean, which is something which shows me they have a plan. Galactus being essentially what it looks like the main villain of this movie. I have to see how it plays out, man. Galactus isn't the type of thing where, one movie. You know what I mean? How you gonna do this in one movie? Because Galactus isn't the typical villain. Galactus is a force of nature. Nobody really knows Galactus' origin. You know what I mean? But we know he eats planets. We know he can't be killed. You know what I mean? So I imagine, that will play big into, the rest of the film, especially when they have Silver Surfer, which is the female version, which I'm not against. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind her character, her being the hero. I mean, I imagine she turns too, just like But like I'm really curious about what was the goal to put Galactus in this, because that's such a big character, that's such a huge character. So I really wonder how that's all going to tie together. I can't really say much more. I feel like they understand the tone, and I feel like the other two did not understand the tone. I feel like especially the Josh Trank one. I don't know what that was, man. I don't know what that was. It was almost like somebody gave him a synopsis of the Fantastic Four, and he pretty much went with it. You know what I mean? Felt almost like Iron Fist. How like somebody told Scott Buck, hey, this white guy can make his hand light up and punch through walls, and that's pretty much all he knew about Iron Fist. Somebody told Josh Trank, hey, it's this family, they got powers, and you know what I mean. But it should be good. It should be good. It should be good. G1. So G1 Climax started this past weekend, and I'm not going to go through each of these shows match by match by match. Not going to do that. What I will tell you is the first night, to me, there's nothing on the show that you need to watch. I feel like nothing was great. I feel like there was some good stuff. The crowd was kind of dead. And honestly, it was a little sad to watch. Did not really like the first night all that much, to be honest with you. Didn't like it all that much. Second night, however, that felt good. That felt like, okay, we might be cooking later. El Phantasmo and Konosuke Takeshita, I went 4 stars on. I thought it was a great fucking match with a great fucking sprint. They have great fucking chemistry. They do great fucking work together. All their matches feel dangerous. They look dangerous. Really like that. And then the main event I thought was just dramatic fucking pro wrestling. Just dramatic, pro wrestling. And it really helps when the crowd gets involved. The main event was Taichi and Yu Uemura of the second night. And it really helps when the crowd is super into stuff, because they were super into that main, and they were super into the semi-main, and they were into pretty much the entire card, in contrast to how they were the night before, which was weird when it was the same amount of people. By the way, the attendance, horrible. We ain't in the 2010s no more. But the attendance was horrible. I think that some of the stories they're setting up during this tournament are cool. I feel like, and this is going to sound crazy, even I just yelled about it before, but if Ren Narita wasn't in this tournament, I would enjoy the evil stuff more, because because Ren Narita's just doing that whole throw the referee into the way, kick him in the balls, and referee got to act stupid, what? It don't work because Evil's also in this tournament. I know they're in different blocks. I'm aware. But it doesn't work because Evil is also in the tournament. Sonata's not even doing that stuff. Sonata's being dirty. Sonata's cheating. Sonata's like, talking shit or whatever. He hasn't been good yet. Probably won't be good, but he's not working like that. This is the thing I always yell about when it comes to Evil, because in the House of Torture, because this stuff is usually all now it's all over the card, when before it was just only like a guy in each division now, right? But like Ren Narita wasn't here, it would literally just be Evil doing this. So it's way more effective when it's just him doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of everyone. Like the match with Yota Tsuji, I didn't particularly love it, but the crowd was hot as fuck for it. And I did like the finish. It was dramatic at the end. The last like minute of that match filled with drama because all the shenanigans that preceded it. That works by itself. That works. The problem is that the matches are all worked the same. You know, nothing matters until the garrote wire comes out. And it's okay when it's just evil. You know what I mean? When it's just evil, it's okay. It's fine. But man. But yeah, so far I really enjoyed night 2. Night 1, night 2, get into it. Quote Joe Lanza, clap, get into it. But yeah, it's not great, but it was good. I did enjoy myself. I don't want to be boring and just go match by match. But again, like I said, also I do like that the booking seems kind of unpredictable, even though they do this type of thing every year because a two-way tie at the top of fucking Block B, Drilla Maloney and Yoshihashi. I love that. And Gabe Kidd has no points. Had to pull out because he hyperextended his leg against Konosuke Takeshita, and he says he'll be back in the tournament. I think it was fine. I think it works because he's not going to win the thing anyway. He probably won't even end up in the semifinal. So prepare for that. You know, a lot of people, you know, that don't really watch the product. They just, you know, watch via Twitter and what they see on AEW and, you know, think the Gabe Kidd should win this thing, which I don't. But maybe next year if he stays in the company, well, who knows? But not this year. But, you know, you got weird people that think he should. I'm going to piss some people off, but I think David Finlay should win this thing before Gabe Kidd should. And I don't think he's going to win it either. So, just you know, I think it fits the narrative more. But, you know. But, yeah. All in all, check out both shows of the G1. We'll check out the second night, not the first. And I'll be back probably in a couple days just to do like a quick, you know, thingamajig about the next 2 shows. Or maybe the next 3. I don't know, but I want to pop in here periodically, kind of do this and check the temperature with this tournament. Even if these extras are like maybe 2-3 minutes long, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, just check the temperature. You know what I mean? I want to do that the whole tournament. And maybe, you know, towards the final we talk about it more in Blue Moon, you know, proper, maybe. But also before I get into TNA, check out Kano versus Kenta, one of the better matches I've seen all year. They beat the fuck out of each other. Check that out if you get a chance. Really recommend it. 4.5 stars. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because truth be told, my finger's so off the post with Noah that I plucked that match. I didn't even watch the whole show. So it'd be kind of disingenuous if I did that. Just know they beat the shit out of each other. Just know that. TNA, man. TNA, total non-stop action. So, look, it's not about fucking, it's not about, goddamn it. It's not about, them and their relationship or lack thereof with the WWE. Because honestly, I don't even blame the WWE. If you know somebody who is going to let you walk over them, you know what I mean? They kind of deserve what they get. Like, I made the analogy. I was like, look, man, if somebody offers you the pussy, you're gonna fuck it. That's how it goes. I was talking to my lady, and I was like, hey, babe, we was on the way to work. I was like, hey, babe, you was like, hey, pull over. I want you to fuck me. Like, I was running late, but hey, I'm gonna be late as fuck because I'm getting the pussy. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it is, man. You only take what is given to you, right? So if you want to give the WWE all of this, that's on you. That's on you. That's on you. I'm gonna absolve them because we know they're evil. We know they don't care about the health of pro wrestling. We know everything is just about them and their bottom line. They don't care about strengthening their partners because they look at everybody as a step below them. They look at all of pro wrestling as inferior to whatever the fuck they got going on. We know this. We know the game. So we know they're evil. If y'all want me to rant about them being evil, that might happen in a little bit, but this is not the main idea of this. TNA, man. Mike Santana took a chance Well, I mean, he was probably going to get released anyway. But Mike Santana leaves AEW, right? He leaves AEW. Mutually parts ways with Tony Khan and AEW. He takes a chance on himself. We say this guy is stale. We say this guy is dull as dirt, right? We say that. And like I thought it. A lot of people thought it. And I still don't think he's a great worker. I think he's a good worker. But he is gotten over to those people. The main character of TNA wrestling is Mike Santana. This is the biggest show that they have put on in America. Period. It's the biggest show they ever put on in America. Biggest show. Trick Williams should have not walked out with that title. I don't care what you negotiate. I would straight up I know that you don't have a leg to stand on, right? But you can also say, hey, we're not giving this dude the belt unless he drops it to our guy. And unless he can pin him for this title. And then you just don't fucking do it. If you lose that partnership, you lose that partnership. Whatever. You know what I mean? And I know what people are going to say. The only reason that was the biggest show that they've ever put on in America is because the WWE. Cool. Yes. But remember what they are also getting out of this equation. You hold a little bit of leverage because Trick Williams has been a flop. A flop. I don't care how over he sounds in the building. I don't care. Because if he was some sort of success, he would not still be in NXT. So they fucking need you. They need you to an extent. They need you. They might not be begging you to work with them, but they fucking need you to an extent. Recognize that before you let them walk on you. You just let Trick Williams derail the biggest story you had in the company. I know some people are saying, oh, they're going to do this at Bound for Glory. No, motherfucker, you do it now in that guy's home city in front of the largest crowd you've ever had in North America. That's when you have him pin Trick Williams and win the world title. As soon as Joe Hendry bitch ass, by the way, that punk motherfucker, as soon as you added him to the match, that you knew at that moment, it was painfully obvious, shenanigans are afoot. Shenanigans are afoot. You know immediately that's what's going to happen. You know it immediately. I don't feel bad for them. And then you have fucking Carlos Silva with a TNA hat congratulating the NXT guy. What reason do you have to watch TNA? Their world champion appears on NXT every week. Why would you even watch the TNA? Why would you watch TNA? You have a weekly TV show where your world champion may not always be on your weekly TV show because he works for the WWE. Like have some shame, man. Have some shame. Have some shame. And then the woman. Masha Slamovich versus JC Jane. Masha Slamovich is one of the biggest women not in the WWE, even though she probably will be soon the way things are going. And she's getting pinned by JC Jane. JC Jane is now your world champion, your women's world champion. So both of your heavyweight champions just happen to be in NXT. So what reason is there to watch the show? What reason? What are anybody on your roster fighting for? And then these people aren't being portrayed as heels. They're not. I guess Trick would kind of whatever, he's cocky or whatever. And that interest was boss. I love that interest that he had. But again, hateable heel. People should be booing this. They should be considered invaders. Because this is your company. This is your fucking company. Have some shame. Have some dignity, bro. Have some dignity. You'll always be looked at as an embarrassment, less than, little brother, if you keep acting that way. If you keep acting that way, stand up to the bully, bro. Stand up to the bully. And then everybody that wanted to, you fired. You fired because you're more comfortable cucking to these people than the bottom line is your company. Have some pride, bro. Have some pride. Like, and it's not even, it's bigger than y'all. It's bigger than y'all. Because people on the outside, they look at this shit and they go, oh man, look at this gate. Look at these people. Look at look at the amount of people talking about TNA. Look at the optics of TNA, right? How many people you think about this show? How many people you think watch Impact every week? I don't even know what channel they come on anymore. How many people you think did? Do you think it justifies embarrassing yourself? I don't. Because yeah, all these people coming to this show, it's nice. The optics are cool. You know, you gain a little bit you gain some money. I'm not going to say they ain't making no money from this. But what does it do in the long run? What does it do in the long run? Because look, Joe Hendry's gone. Joe Hendry, this motherfucker has twerked and embarrassed himself enough. He's gone. You know you losing him. You're probably going to lose Mike Santana. Good chance you lose Master Slamovich. Right now, they're just taking what they need. They're taking what they need. And when they're done and they depleted you, they're either going to buy you or leave you with nothing. Leave you barren with nothing. Or fucking buy you. Have some pride, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. And then the precedent is set because they're far smaller companies than TNA that go, hey man, look at all these people TNA got coming to their shows. Maybe we should do it too. Maybe we should just bend the knee for the WWE. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should bend the knee the same way that they did. Maybe we should just do that. Crazy. Why would anyone do that? Why would anyone do that? I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's almost like, what's another good example? It's almost like I said, the bully that just takes your lunch money and you just give it to him every day. Because that's what they do. That's what they do. And if you let them do it, they're just going to keep doing it. Have some pride, man. Have some dignity. And then they don't even care about you because you're just a talking point. They use you for PR. They use you so you got weird people saying weird stuff about like fucking TNA and how they're viewed in the ecosystem. They use you for moments like AJ Styles coming out there and not helping and cutting that generic promo about Leon Slater when the story should be Leon Slater vanquishing Moose and this feel-good moment for the fucking X division, but we have to undercut it with AJ Styles coming out there and making the moment about him, not about Leon Slater overcoming a character like Moose. Not about that. No, it's about AJ Styles because now they can say, look at how the WWE helps their partner. Look at all the attention they're getting because AJ Styles was there and he put over the young guy by saying a couple nice words about him and his music playing as the segment fades. Not Leon Slater, his fucking music. That's how they view you. That's how they view you. You're a guest in your own house. You're a guest in your own. Your mother-in-law has come over. And all she's doing is complaining and taking shit from your house. That's what the WWE does. That's what they're doing to you. But you're cool with that. I don't want to see everyone cool with that. Why are you cool with that? Have some pride, man. Have some pride. That fucking Carlos Silva coming out there and raising Trick Williams' hand. How much of a bitch can you be? Hand him the KY jelly because he's getting fucked. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Like, they use you for people like Eric Bischoff. This motherfucker to go on Ariel Helwani, that bitch ass nigga, and say, oh, TNA in a year's time, man, they could be number 2. Fucking All In just had 25,000 people. More than that. Almost 27,000. I think it was more. It may have been around 20. I don't know. Over 25,000 people in a baseball stadium. While pyro and all this other shit is going off. Number 1 trending topic in the world. Critically acclaimed. Seems to be a financial success. One of the largest gates, one of the largest non-WWE gates in the history of North America. And y'all got the nerve. You got the nerve because almost 30 years from now, you beat the WWE for a year and a half, and you think you know better when TNA is in the position that it's in because of you and your bald racist friend. But we supposed to listen to you. And you got people that listen to this man because he scored 4 touchdowns in the high school state championship. Like Al Bundy or some shit. We're supposed to listen to this dude. Because one time in his life, he was less than terrible. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. Fuck you, Eric Bischoff, and fuck anybody that follows you. This nigga is a shit stain on the history of pro wrestling. I'm done, bro. I'm done. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga, seriously. Anyway, I see y'all when I see y'all, man. I don't want to keep going because, ooh, boy. Peace.